Hi, it's time for a brief and to the point rant video. And I've done videos about this topic before and it never ceases to amaze me. It also never ceases to cheese me off. This is a customer's IMA4406 master station, and as you can see, it's still in pieces. This particular IMA4406, which came from a fella in New Jersey, this was made somewhere in the end of 2002 or the beginning of 2003. When he sent it to me, it had the typical sort of power module failure that these models get. Is that what cheeses me off? No, not at all. That's to be expected, actually, and that's maybe part of what cheeses me off. This particular set has been repaired 3 times before it came here. And how do I know that? Well, I know that because the shop that worked on it put numbers on different boards and things throughout the set. There's numbers here, there's one written down here, there's one written over here, and there's one written here on the bracket of the power module. Does writing numbers on it cheese me off? No, not at all. A lot of shops do that. I never really understand why, because you know who the customer is and you should be able to identify your own work. But that's what a lot of places do. What cheeses me off about this is, as I said, it has had 3, count them, 3 previous repairs. And the repair numbers are, I believe in correct order, we have 704565, and then we have 708544, and down here we have 708009. So in the span of numbers, there's about 3,500 numbers between the lowest number and the highest number. How many repairs did that shop do over the years? I have no idea. Do I know who that is? Do I know who wrote these numbers on here? Yes, I do. Are they still around today? No, they're not. That's probably a good thing. What cheeses me off is, oh wait, as I worked on this unit to repair it, and yes, all of the repairs are done, I just have to put it back together and test it, it's had some fairly major problems. Judging by what I see that was done to it, at one time at least it had probably some kind of lightning or storm damage. Many components were replaced. Some of them replaced with substitute parts instead of original parts, which here I'm not super jazzed about, but if that's what you do, that's what you do, I guess. What cheeses me off about this is related to the reason that it's here today. Anyone who's been on my website and anyone who's watched some of our YouTube videos about 4406s know that IMA 4406s develop a problem that causes them to go into the IU mode, or that same type of problem can cause a system problem where everything seems as if it functions correctly, but you don't get any sound. You can't hear the radio, can't hear the doorbell, can't talk on the intercom. It seems like it should work, but there's no audio of any kind. And it's the same source problem, just different symptoms of that problem. And we have YouTube videos about all of that in this 4406 playlist that you're watching this one in. That's all caused by a problem with this. This is what's called the power module. The power module is the primary power supply, it's the amplifier, and it's the preamp down here underneath. And as you can see in this particular one, you can see the cover. This is a plastic cover with all the printing on it. This has started to turn brown. When this was brand new, this was clear. There was no brown tint at all. In fact, here's my shop 4406 power module. This is the one that belongs to me that we use for testing purposes. And as you can see, the plastic cover is completely clear and you can see the aluminum heatsink underneath. This is what it looks like when it's new. This is what it looks like when it's been overheated for a really long period of time. I actually have worked on these where this plastic cover is completely opaque black. You could take it outside, hold it up to a solar eclipse and not lose your eyesight because it's so dark. That's how black they can get from the heat. So why does it get hot? It gets hot because this particular early IMA 4406, these have a problem. The ones that were made towards the end of 2002 through about the beginning or maybe middle-ish of 2004, they have a problem with the way the components were laid out. There's components in this section, which is the primary power supply, that overheat and burn up. It's enough of a problem that every single one of these is going to fail sooner or later. I always tell people when I talk to them on the phone, it's not a matter of if it's going to fail, it's more like when is it going to fail, because they're all going to fail sooner or later. We make a modification when we rebuild these and we add this aluminum bracket that this component sits on, so the heat that this component generates goes up the bracket and travels, and is screwed to the big metal plate that's screwed to the big aluminum heatsink, so the heat has a path to travel and it will dissipate through the heatsink. And that's what heat sinks are really all about. Is that what cheeses me off? That early IMA4406s overheat, burn up, and die? No, not really, because that's just one of those things that happens sometimes, even though NuTone always said, no, it's not really a problem, but later on sets had brackets, so you kind of figure that out. That isn't what cheeses me off either. What cheeses me off is this set has been worked on 3 other times over a fairly long period of time, I would guess, probably over the period of maybe 5, 6, 7 years. It's hard to say exactly, but I would guess on an average, could even be more than that, could be over a period of 6 or 8 years even. It's really hard to say. A lot of extensive work was done to it, a lot of components have been replaced, and all of that kind of stuff. However, the shop that worked on it never bothered to deal with this. This is a known problem. Anybody that works on NuTone intercom systems regularly and has done it for more than, say, like 3 days knows that this is a problem. And yet, this shop that this set went to 3 times, 3, count them, it went there 3 different times, and it was completely disassembled. They never bothered to address this. This should have been taken care of the first time it went there, because we all know that this is a problem. They had taken care of it at one of those 3 service times when it was in their shop for some other repair, it wouldn't be here today. And that's what cheeses me off. It's a simple and known problem, and another shop that has the experience, because I know who they are, and has the ability, because I know who they are, ignores it and doesn't take care of it, because right now today, oh, it's not really a problem. It's all right today, so we'll just leave it alone. It's all right. No, it's not all right. It's not all right because you know it's going to fail. And I'm not saying that they left it because they know it's going to fail and then they know the guy's going to have to send it back another time and they get to charge all over again. I'm not saying that at all. You kind of figure it out why they would do that. Because I can't come up with another reason other than they don't care, they couldn't bother, and they're lazy. That would be the only other thing. So if you have other ideas why they wouldn't bother to fix a known problem while it was at their shop 3 times, leave it down in the comments below. Maybe I'm overlooking something. Maybe I'm all askew on this and I'm completely wrong. But I don't think so. There's lots of things that you know go wrong with every model of NuTone intercom ever made. The fundamental idea here is that every single model that NuTone has ever made has what I call the 10 most common things that go wrong. And those are the things that you can count on to encompass probably 90%, maybe a little more, of every set that you get in of that model. Yes, there are things that you know will be a problem. Even if they're not a problem today, you know they're going to be a problem in the future. Let me show you another example. This is the main board out of the same 4406. You've got tuner section up here. You got intercom controls up in here, intercom controls down in here. It's a fairly elaborate board. Auxiliary input section, audio control section, all kinds of things going on. It's a fairly large board. It is fully, probably half of the whole system is this board. One of the things that we know about this board is down here you got 4 little relays. These are the audio intercom relays. They're what you hear go click, 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 click when you operate the intercom. We all know these relays can be a problem. And the reason that they're a problem, it's not because the relays themselves are a problem, it's because when systems get installed, they don't get adjusted correctly, or they become way out of adjustment with use by the homeowner, and the little contacts in the relays, because the system is way out of adjustment and making way too much power, the little contacts in here get overloaded and become carbonized and can burn, and then they don't make good connections. And then your audio and intercom operation is very erratic, and when relays are like that and they operate, and they, instead of going click, 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 they go kind of like chunk, 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 and you can tell that they're bad. Every 4406 that comes through my shop, no matter what the problem is, the reason it was sent to us, these get replaced. because I know that these are going to be a problem. They always are a problem, they always will be a problem, and they always should be replaced. I remember specifically the last set that I repaired before relays became a standard replaced component. I don't remember how long ago it was now. It was probably 8 or 9 years ago or so. We weren't replacing relays as a standard item yet because we were only starting to see them as a problem and they hadn't been added to the normal list of everything that gets replaced. That customer said relays didn't get replaced, sent it back, everything worked, everything was great. About 2 years later, the fellow calls me. It was an AV company that was doing it for one of their customers and said the customer's having a problem, the intercom operation is weird and blah, 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 blah. And I said, well, send it back and I'll take a look at it and see what we can do. The relays needed to be replaced. Now, we had already been replacing relays for about 2 years as a standard item, and for this fella, he sent it back. I went ahead and did it for free. If you leave things that you know are going to be a problem, you're being negligent and you're not giving your customer what they're paying for. And what they're paying for is a set that's been repaired and should be reliable. Our goal is for the next 10 or 15 years. Shouldn't be a problem. That's why we do what we do here. That's what cheeses me off. Shops that do substandard work. If you found it interesting, give it a thumbs up. If you have some other idea that I overlooked why this company didn't fix this, leave it in the comments down below. There'll be a banner right here that shows you how to subscribe. Go to our YouTube homepage, click on the bell, and when you click on the bell, click on it to receive all notifications, and every time we post a new video, you'll get a notification and you can watch it. That's all for today. See you on the next video.